Halifax, a fledgling sex shop in rural Nova Scotia, shuttered last week, and the owner says her next business venture will avoid any risque retail in order to keep the focus on sex education. Tessa Janes opened Valley Vixen in April 2017 in the hopes of providing Wolfville, NS, a university town an hour outside of Halifax, and the surrounding area with a safe space for learning about sex and sexuality. Valley Vixen operated in Wolfville, NS from April 2017 to June 2018. The owner of the sex shop says morality clauses in banks' policies led to the demise of her business. Contributed for a little over a year, Valley Vixen sold sex toys and books and offered sex education and healthy relationship workshops. The shop closed for good on June 16, but Jane said the closure is only a speed bump on her road to providing sex education. "We basically need to wait for the dust to settle," she said in an interview. "This is a significant setback, no doubt about it, but we're gonna keep trying because we believe in the importance of the work. Going forward, I want to salvage the education workshops that Valley Vixen does," said Janes, adding that if she starts a new operation, it won't include a retail component. Article continued below. Jane said it was difficult to secure financing for her business because of policy restrictions on the adult industry at some financial institutions. She said sex education doesn't fall into that category, as sex toy retail does. Jane said she expects easier access to funding if she applies as strictly a sex educator and not a retailer. Eddie Yang, a professor at Dalhousie University's Rowe School of Business and a former bank employee, said all big Canadian banks share an aversion to doing business with the adult industry, and they're within their legal rights to ingrain that in policy. In general, banks are allowed to discriminate in terms of what types of businesses they want to do business with, he said in an interview, adding that businesses and occupations aren't protected against discrimination the way that individuals are under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. "It has to do with risk," Ng said. In addition to assessing the likelihood that any given business will be able to pay back a loan, the banks also consider any risk to their reputations. They don't want to jeopardize their status as moral members of the community by partnering with a stigmatized industry. Although some may expect a sex shop in a rural community to be stigmatized or even rebuffed, Jane said that was not her experience. "The support has been overwhelmingly positive," she said. "I don't think we got any negative kickback, ever. We're literally across the street from the Baptist church, and within a couple of weeks of opening, somebody came over from the church and was like, 'Hey, welcome to the community.'" Article continued below. Marshall Haywood, the owner of Venus Envy, an icon of sex education and a retail shop in Halifax since 1998, said he thinks the designation of adult is arbitrary and punitive. I think it's sort of drawing an imaginary line. Especially these days when you can buy adult products anywhere online and in a lot of places that aren't necessarily adult businesses, he said in an interview. Haywood said Venus Envy has also encountered discrimination from financial institutions. He said Chase Payment Tech, which provides credit and debit processing services to retailers, would not work with Venus Envy because Chase considered it an adult business. He said it was simple enough to find another service, but he missed out on a discount offered by Chase to members of the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses, of which Venus Envy is a member. Chase Payment Tech did not respond to several requests for comment. Haywood said he was sad to hear about the closure of Valley Vixen, which espouses similar values to Venus Envy, those of welcoming and non-judgmental sex education. "I think they gave it a really good go and we're sorry to see them close," he said. Star Metro reached out to the Big Five Canadian banks about any policies that might single out or restrict adult businesses. CIBC, TD Bank Group and Scotiabank all said they were unable to provide comment. The Bank of Montreal and Royal Bank of Canada did not respond.